Rodriguez, and today's date is February 21st. It's 11 a.m., and I am here interviewing Miss Paula Vasquez, who is a pre-law student. This interview is about an incident for negligence that caused a painful injury. Jane Mason is suing Virginia Packman because of this injury. I would like your input, if that's okay. Ms. Vasquez, you do know I am going to record this interview from you, and I do have your permission. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's begin. I would like to begin by asking you briefly tell me about your pre-law background.
Well, I recently graduated from the university with a background in psychology and criminal justice. I am interested in pre-law because my mom is a double major, psychology, criminal justice major, so I've always been into that criminal aspect, like the backgrounds of why someone does something, how they can get away with it, what can I do to stop them.
Why are you interested in this case?
I'm interested in this case because I like to see how petty people can be. It's the way, after reading the synopsis of this case, I'm just thinking to myself, like, you can turn like that on someone if you feel like you can gain something from it, even if you've been friends forever. Mm-hmm. Because they have been friends for a very long time. They're neighbors. The Packmans and the Masons have been neighbors. They did so many things together. So I just wanted to know, like, I wanted to see for myself, like, how this can shift the relationship.
Okay. Apparently you know somebody that has details about this case. How do you know this person?
Well, I don't know them specifically, but I've searched up. I've done my own research, I guess you could say, on the case, not for any like legal sort of implications. I'm just a very curious person by nature. I interviewed I want to say ambulance driver. His name is Eddie Martinez. He was one of the officer and himself that arrived on the scene at the same time. Okay. And he was saying how Jane and Virginia rode in the same ambulance together, and while Jane was in the stretcher and they were driving off, Ms. Walter was insisting on paying for her medical expenses, and she refused because her husband had very good insurance and it was just an accident. Okay. The claim was that it was just an accident and there was no need to fork over money, mm-hmm. basically, to fix it. So that's how I came about the information.
Okay. Do you believe this person would testify in court?
I would think so, but they might throw some red flags up because this person on a daily basis sees I don't know how many people, and they work 72-hour shifts. So his capacity to remember this would probably come into question from the sheer amount of time he works, mm-hmm. The amount of frequency he sees people and injuries to begin with, and just because it also might play a role. I don't like to say this, but his racial status might actually play a role because, as I just said, his name is Martinez.
Yes.
And as though the court system is not supposed to be so petty and so heavily engrossed into this, mm-hmm. it can play a factor in his credibility.
Okay. What do you think is the strongest detail about this case?
Well, the case revolves around the woman's inability to heal properly over the past year. And the fact of the matter is, I think a key component is that she was warned frequently after her initial dispatch from the hospital, mm-hmm. and from her doctor that she needs to stay off her foot.
Yes.
For 4 weeks at least, at the most. But she insisted on doing extracurricular activities like golf right after her discharge. And as a result, the doctor believes this is why she suffers from frequent pain and swelling. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a key detail, because if she was going to be fine with his insurance, she should have listened to the doctor. He's a medical professional. Whether it was the fact that, yes, the knife fell on her foot. Yes, it happened at the Paxton's house. But that doesn't excuse the fact that she neglected her own health and forcibly brought this upon herself.
Yeah.
So that's what I think someone should actually consider.
Okay. Do you have any concerns about this case?
My only concern is its outcome, per se, because it could go either way depending on how well their attorneys portray. As I said before, I believe that the doctor's testimony would be important because she could have had herself walking right now without any pain, any complication whatsoever, had she listened to her doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, it was an accident. It was an accident, but you would assume common sense would tell you don't put anything near the knife,
Mm-hmm.
or wash your hands, or stay clear of it. Watch out what you're doing, because accidents do happen in a home.
Yes.
So it all just depends, because there's no winner in this solution. Either the Paxtons win and they lose friends that they've already lost, basically, or the Masons win and they're out a friend too.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real winner, in my opinion. So,
Is there anything else you want to add about Jane Mason?
well, Jane Mason said that. Well, Jane Mason was accused of not taking proper precautions around a knife by Mr. William Packman. He said that Jane Mason should have watched her footing and should have stayed clear of the edge of the table where the knife would have probably fallen. But when the officer, as I said before, who arrived with Eddie Martinez, her name is Diane Trover, she examined the crime scene, or the area of the incident, and there was blood a foot away from the edge of the table, which would indicate that she did practice some caution. It's just the knife flew out because of the grease in her hands. There's also a detail you need to conclude, because if you don't cover all your grounds, it's going to seem like you're hiding something.
Okay, so do you believe Jane Mason is guilty?
I think they're both at fault because they let money get in the way of their friendship, which is nothing to do with the law, but that's the basis of it all. Jane could have accepted her friend's kindness and let them pay for the medical bills out of principle because it happened in their house. They did offer to pay her medical bills. They did offer many apologies. Jane Mason's husband even said it was an accident on her part. But they let it turn. I'm not sure why, whether his insurance didn't cover it, or it wasn't enough, or they just thought maybe we can gain something from this. But ultimately, I think they're both in the wrong,
Mm-hmm.
because let's face it, this all could have been avoided had you been common sense, like just calm down and take a step back, like what are we doing? But like anything else, people can be very petty, and people just want the easy way out. In this case, it's $100,000 of negligence on both parties. It's a lot of money, and it's kind of ridiculous because when you think about it, medical bills are way more than that, unless the insurance didn't cover it all,
Mm-hmm.
or they just want the money for themselves. Because as Jane stated, her husband has very good insurance, but that doesn't mean it's going to cover everything.
That's true. Okay, I would like to take time to thank you for meeting with me today, so that I can gather information about this case. Is there anything you would like to add?
No, not very much. Just that this case was going to drag out. You can already tell this case will drag out. But other than that, it's up to the judge or to decide who's right, who's wrong, or to dismiss it altogether.
Okay. If I have any other questions, is it okay if I contact you via email?
That's fine.
Okay. Once again, thank you for your time, and I hope